All Might 3 was the first character I built when MHA came out because I already owned them from the Gen Con promos. And I decided to not play them against my local play group because it felt a little unfair. But in my opinion, when the set came out and I was messing with him, I just felt as if he was going to be one of the stronger characters in the format because he gets free stats. He punishes, obviously, your opponent for trying to play defensively, but also gets incremental gains. And the fact that he can take advantage of cards that only All Might can take advantage of, on top of the fact of not being a real six-hander, feel really good. Also, I really like the air symbol right now. So if you opt to play him under the air symbol, even though you don't get to play the other All Might cards, there's a ton of cards that counteract his cost of readying the foundations because they readied themselves.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of really cool things you can do with him. The air symbol one is like, you have things like Meteor Shower, and he can just give stats on every single Meteor Shower eventually until you run out of cards from blocking.
He only gives stats on Furies and Punches, so you can play a bunch.
Oh yeah, you're right.
But he can't give stats on them.
No, you're right. So my bad. What's the one?
He gets stats on all the Bakugo stuff under air.
Right? Yes, which are all Furies. So the perk is like if you do want to play Howitzer in him, he can give it the damage that you want to give it because it already gets the speed, right?
Right. Blaster's Turbo, Exploding Pride, like accidentally putting speed on like long-lasting explosion, instant explosive release. Signature right swing. If your next one's a mid, it gets more speed. So getting to put damage on that. Like there's putting damage on Nitro Explosion Ignition, starting at a 5 speed already is like, these moves are gonna hit or they're gonna do damage. It feels good.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, you lose that on a lot of the punches for sure. There's not really any Jiro support that he really gets to support. But I mean, the foundations are strong. Like I said, it's mainly what kind of it is.
Of course you will.
Slip. There's if you're playing if you're playing Ida, would you play all 4? I'd play 2 or 3. I agree with Pippa. I'm not sure I'd ever run 4.
This one 3.
But regardless, so yeah, I built All Might 3. I built him under all, of course. He can easily do the same things under all, under good. The only difference is that under good, you gain the Midoriya support, which is really strong, don't get me wrong. For me, though, when I first built my first deck of MHA, I very much just made the smallest deck I could. It was a very aggro list. The updated version I have for him is obviously under good, because you obviously gain access to the punch throw that every All Might deck wants to play, basically. You gain access to the Kirishima support cards, which are most of them are punches. They're all punches, actually. Wait, yeah, they're all punches. I don't play them all because they're not all good in him.
Right.
But so one of the biggest ones that I think is a really cool one right now is actually the Kirishima Ultra Rare, is because it's discarded momentum for a bunch of damage, so you can just always opt to give it speed, and it's an incredibly strong opener because it's a 5 diff, and if you have the momentum, it's a great opener for that. When your opponent has the most cards in their hand, so you give it a bunch of speed, and it can't be blocked by Plus Ultra. So
as it builds a foundation, so you can commit the foundation that it builds and All Might.
Draw your cards then. Yeah, you can draw your 2 cards right on it. So that's definitely the biggest change, I would say, adapting to Plus Ultra now being in the system. That's probably the biggest change I made to it when I swapped over to good. Obviously, having the throw is very nice. The good symbol deck obviously just has a struggle with you're playing that 5 diff. It's not a 4, but it's in the deck. And then you're playing the throw, which is a 5 diff. It's very much, and he doesn't really help you out with, lowering difficulty. So that's why I was asking you earlier about the Midoriya Foundation that flips for -1 difficulty. Like it's cute, it's good, it does a thing. The nice part in the All Might deck is that you flip it, make your attack easier, and then you can commit the flipped foundation, right? Like it's a bunch of things for like drawing cards or whatever.
Yeah, I play my All Might 3 under good. It's actually one of the 2 paper decks that I own.
Okay, gotcha.
Funny enough, All Might 3 and an Ochako. It's like we're cut from the same cloth.
Yeah, I just thought. Yeah, I mean, I have a bunch of decks built just from the amount of product that I open. Like I've got a Sero list that I play right now. I've got a Tokoyami list I play right now.
Symbol on Sero.
Order.
I've been playing Order too.
I think so Order is my favorite symbol in all of Universes. And I think they did a good job with the Order symbol for MHA, even though Mineta is one of the characters that has it. So and that is 100% shade on that character and his support.
Yeah.
But
hate that guy.
I love Sero because he very much feels like an Order character. He feels incredibly easy to play, but your opponent hates playing against him. He is very much a clock deck, in my opinion, and your opponent has to constantly be making the hard decisions.
My favorite tech in Order Sero is actually Delaware Smash. I think Delaware Smash is so hilarious because everybody holds highs and lows, and you just sling a mid at them with flash, and you go, all right, catch, dummy. Like,
I mean,
wait, I don't want you to draw 2 cards.
It's 6 base damage, man.
Yep.
Like that's how you play flash attack.
Yeah.
You play high base damage.
That's what I'm saying.
I like that. I actually think that's also really good for the Kirishima matchup. I think that's really nice.
It's yes, and I think Sarah's one of the people that can look at Kirishima with a straight face and actually like demolish him. If you put Sero
I agree.
and Think Fast on your table and you've got a brain dead Kirishima, you'll beat them 10 out of 10 times. The issue is I think Sero's bad against the rest of the field.
Yeah, to a degree. I think Sero to me is one of those characters that thrives for people that know how to play good UFS. The Order symbols blocks are fine.
Yeah.
And then you can even cheat the system by obviously changing blocks with things like Tape, which is my favorite card in actually the whole set.
Okay. All right.
Tape is my favorite card in the whole set.
I can see that. Make this thing very blockable. Love it.
Yes, and Tape itself is actually why I opted to play Zhonghua in Standard underwater, because Water to me needed more defensive foundations, and it gained quite a few.
A lot.
So
really.
yes, it gained quite a few. So you can play squishy 7-handers in Water that can do reversally defensive stuff and shut down your opponent's turn. So like things like that. So like I really like Tape. It has Order on it too, so I'm gonna play it in every friggin' deck I can. Gotcha is nothing to laugh about for a 0 diff, so it works.
Agreed.
You have Think Fast obviously is incredibly good, and then also Sero's Rare is incredibly good. It's also got a 1 mid block.
Yeah.
His other 2 diff, the one with 3 separate effects on it, I think is incredibly underrated, but it's mainly as a sideboard card because you can pitch momentum with it and everything. And
what's their plan?
Is that what it is?
I think
it's a 2/5 with a something block.
Yeah. 2/5 mid.
But yeah, so
cool sideboard card.
So I've got quite a few decks built. Not just everything we've kind of been talking about, but yeah.
Yeah. How much Denki have you played? Looking across the table.
Played as or again?
Both.
I have not played as Denki. Aside from I've maybe sided my Ochako listened to Denki twice in the entire time I've had the deck built.
Fair.
I have played against Denki quite a bit. I have a local player that has got into Universus and plays Denki, and so I've actually also been doing a lot of deck testing. And deck teching, I should say, with him and helping him make his deck a little bit better. I think he is exactly what he is on paper, man. I think he is an explosive 7-hander that gets to do really cool things with momentum and card pool clearing. He does what his card text says very well, which means when you sit across from a Denki list, you usually already know what to kind of anticipate.
Right.
And I think there are just really specific cards, not even characters, that just kind of check him in the format. Things like Wall Cling, like if you know how to block incredibly well and you already know what he's playing in the list, basically, all you have to do is Wall Cling on the Jolt or the Zero Gravity Lift that you know he's going to try and use his once per game on, and you basically delay that entire plan an extra turn, and that's usually all you kind of need to win games right now, is delaying your opponent trying to kill you by 1 turn, and then you can backswing him. So
I agree completely.
I also think that makes this matchup for All Might 3 to be pretty good, because if Denki doesn't find the turn to go and unload the cards in his hand and fails on that kill turn kind of thing and has to hold those cards, then All Might's going to cash in. And then the Denki player will have to block with them, and he'll have to try all over again. So, like, that I think is just honestly the hidden strength of All Might 3 is you get free stats based off of your opponent holding cards.
Yeah.
And then your opponent feels like they have to use them. because the cards you're playing are already inherently strong. Like we
Correct.
said, so like even if you just played the throw, right? The throw is still 6 base damage. And whether you opt to give it more damage because it's a throw, or you just make it faster so they eat the full 6,
Yeah.
like, it's just like your opponent is like, I don't want these cards in my hand anymore. I need to block. And then you get rid of their attacks, right? So
This does look like an absolute crazy hand from Denki, though.
that's what I'm saying. So the problem, though, is just like, I mean, yeah, so we're going on the attack. So it's all about if All Might can stop the onslaught. I mean, you're so obvious in here. So at the end of the day, if it's like, are we just doing meteor stuff, then You're So Obvious won't be as good of help for us. But if we're doing some like big like blitz rush thing, then you know, obviously You're So Obvious might kind of help us out.
Yeah.
So he's going to draw here defensively, which I think is fantastic.
I think he needs to. He doesn't have any high blocks.
Yeah,
Two
yeah.
lows.
Which is rough because I don't think this list plays any lows unless it plays the flash.
It's playing. It's playing.
Playing the DLC card.
5-diff. The 5-diff Frost Hammer. It gets 1 damage for each of my opponent's foundations.
Which that is a low, and that's
It's
a
a
very important low to block. But I think that's also what I'll say is Denki's biggest weakness is speed. And his way to counteract that is by tapping your opponent's stuff down. But there is a ton of stun hate in this format. So like the fact that one of them is committed.
Yeah.
The worst part too is so it can't be fixed is against Denki is if you ever use the Denki enhance that says if you block this you have to commit one, you can just choose when you want to build.
Yeah, that's incredibly strong. And like the main way that you either fight Denki is you can either block everything that he does and just like hope that it works out because your whole board will be tapped and then you'll probably die to the indiscriminate shock.
Yep.
Or you will not block anything and then they'll pop their once per game and then they play their one last big bomb and you block that one move and then they go,
yeah, your
turn.
That's what I would say the Blitz Rush problem is for Denki, because the thing is that the Blitz Rush itself is not very fast. It hits like a truck because you're going to get all the momentum, and then if you play the Electric Surges, you'll get more momentum. If you play the Electric Jolts, you'll tap down even more stuff. Like, which you're already playing Jolt because you need to enable your character. Like, if you play the Zero Gravity Lifts, you know he's playing. So there's a Surge. So. And I actually, so here's my thing. I actually love Surge. Surge, yeah, Surge is, so I'm, like I said, I'm playing Order, and Denki has Order for my Sarah list, and I'm just playing the Electric Surge charged up package that he has literally on his board. Because the thing is that, so you kill people in Sarah with these really amazing tape swings,
I appreciate
right?
That.
So in theory,
2 whole months?
But he can also play Recipro Burst and all these other things. So Electric Surge just enables that package more, right? But at the end of the day, the Electric Surge can also just still deal damage. Discard a momentum for +3 damage to make it a 7 damage attack. Your opponent has to now consider it.
Yeah.
And if they eat it, then you can do a bunch of other shenanigans, either with Denki himself or with the charged up that he has built, or when you hit them with the Jolt or the Zero Gravity Lifts, you can then trigger the electric, or you can trigger the charged ups to just send the surges in your discard pile straight to momentum, so that you have all this momentum generation. So that's what I use it in other decks. You don't have to play a ton of surges. You play 1 or 2 copies of charged up, and all of a sudden your throws, the stuff that you're already playing, the things that are gonna hit, now give you super momentum generation.
For sure. Yeah.
So that's why I like that package. It's a 2-card package. You can do it literally in anybody that shares Denki symbols, and all of a sudden it jukes up these momentum use cards like off the charts. So on tape swings, I can literally go, if I have a charged up build or 1 or 2 of them built right, I can play Sero Throw because it's charged. You're gonna hit them with it. They're gonna maybe block it, and if they do block it, and you're about to kill them with a tape swing, once per game response with Sero if they fully block it right. Snipe out what you look at their hand, look at their block mods, snipe them out. Oh, you have a mid and a low or whatever. okay, so I'm gonna leave my tape swing high, so I'm guaranteed to do half. I'm guaranteed to draw 2 cards, and you generated, because of the charged up, an extra surge, whatever other momentum you had, plus the Sero enhance, like that's 6 damage, not including any foundations you built.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it's very, whatever character you opt to put it in, it just works very well. In Ochako, I play the same package. I put the energy or electric surges in there because it just jukes up more momentum generation. The perk under the air symbol, though, you also get to play the Ochako Rare Foundation, which then means you can look at those cards, and because normally people will just use the other ability on the Ochako Foundation, which is when you get a momentum, get another one.
Right.
So when you play Electric Surge, you can use the other effect, because unflipping the surge and checking what you have to pick up with Ochako, it's enhanced, is the same value.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So
As long as you
so
have the
it's like,
foundations to pass cards. Yeah, I agree.
so that's me talking up Electric Surge a lot, but like I think that card is slept on because of charged up just together. You don't have to just play it in Denki, right? You can play that package in other people. So like I choose to do it in Sero and everything else.
So go see your momentum.
Yeah,
And like I said, it's got a freaking it's got a terrible block on it, but like I have killed people with its other ability. If you're playing, because if you're already playing it to juke up your momentum generation, you have momentum to spare to make it a 7 damage attack.
Right. Yeah. I agree. And in this spot, we need to. We maybe should have just we opted to fail it. What?
Wow. Okay. Whoa. Actually. Wow. Uh-oh. Because I mean, for sure, All Might was baiting out as many resources from the Denki player as much as we could, so that he can sling these 4 attacks that he has in his hand.
Yeah.
Because I don't think.
Scary stuff over there.
So I don't think, like, All Might wasn't dying that turn just based off of his hand, even with the response. I guess he just didn't have because he has another high block. He could have blocked the shower that would have been sent to the momentum, right?
Well,
he only has 2 up. I think that's what he's afraid of, right?
we had
Or three-
we
three
had
up.
we had 3 more attacks coming, right?
Maybe.
And if one of them hit, we get to go steal more.
Well, it's a maybe, because
Go with
like,
Chocolate 5.
if he taps the cards to pass the meteor,
Oh, and
He
we
has to-
decided we opted to put the 0 gravity lift in our momentum as opposed to the electric jolt to not commit down the
You're so obvious?
not the Soviet, it's the special sound to make the
Ah.
to block the one.
To give it
Yeah.
3 speed.
But yeah, so looks like game 1 is going to All Might because he's got 4 attacks in his hand.
2 of them are
Crazy.
throws. Like I said, the Denki player's got 3 in hand, so everything's gonna get 3 of something,
Yeah.
unless we start eating cards.
I mean, at this point, you just make it speed so that they can't
Always.
walk.
Yeah, I mean,
And then-
again, that's my other reason why I love All Might 3 dot is you play against 7-handers, and speed is the most valuable resource you can constantly get, because again, even across the MHA format in general, cards do high base damage. Top 10 dead Denkis, number 1. This is the deadest man. Come on, freaking Jose.
To be fair, though, he's pretty dead.
Responses?
Yeah, no, he's very dead. Yeah,
Nope,
absolutely.
no responses.
We haven't even gotten to the 5 diffs.
I will add this one to my hand.
Yeah, we've not even gotten.
The top 150.
To the throws
Oh.
and the DLC card.
Oh, he
Alright.
picked up a Texas Smash.
Pass.
Give it 3 speed.
Oh,
Later.
excuse me.
How did he build? Oh, coordinated effort.
Coordinated effort.
All right.
Yeah, from earlier. Yeah.
I'll send
Neato.
a 6 mid for 5.
See, but that's what I'm talking about. Like,
Very fun.
you had to choose to play Hardened Jab in your deck with coordinated effort. Like, that is fair. That is a package. That's fine. Kirishima with coordinated effort.
Do you think that honestly, I hate jab coordinated. I think jab being able to pick up one of your cool face down foundations that you
And
have
rebuild it.
flipped and rebuild it is like, that's a cool interaction. What's not a cool interaction is being able to pick up jab into jab into jab into jab.
yeah.
Give it plus 3 damage and later.
I think so. Like, and like that's one of the cool things. Like the foundation looping, I think that's super cool because like like Jose was showing me when he was playing Void Kirishima, right? Is that so? Void Kirishima gets to loop villains defeated,
Right.
which is incredibly good.
Destroy this.
And you're already playing, so it's because you gain 2 from the villains defeated. You blocked the attack, and you gave it -2 damage when you picked up a villain's defeated. Next turn, you poke, play another villain's defeated. Like it's really good. Like you're slowly removing every attack in your opponent's deck. Like
Yeah.
it's mean.
What do you think of Training Partner as a card? I think the card's got a very, very specific niche, and I think it is like the closest we have to like a floodgate. It's like as good as You're So Obvious, right? Flip with this thing to 4 speed, block it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. But I think cards like that need to exist because of things like Reciprocal Burst, right?
Agreed. Yeah.
And it has
4.
3 separate symbols that You're So Obvious has, which has a similar effect.
Mhm.
So, like, that's fine. Cards like that need to exist.
I agree.
Or else we have cards like Reciprocal Burst that just dominate the format.
He said another. He said one more, please.
Put him to 1. Play another attack.
And that's game.
Damn, he said that's game.
Game, man.
Yeah, that was good. I think there was some missequencing from Denki. We also checked, I think, 3 threes on that kill turn, which certainly can be a little disheartening for sure.
I think, but like that's kind of my thing is like that's how I feel about Denki. He's an aggro deck. He does this one thing. He does it incredibly well. But if the mechanics of Universus get in your way when you're trying to do it, you will just flop. Obviously, you know that was Denki fighting the uphill battle already. He was going second, so like now he gets to go first. He gets to build, and then if he draws Exodia like on turn 2, he can actually just pull it off. Like
100%.
And that's just it. That's my biggest gripe about All Might 3 Dot is aside from drawing 2 cards, which as the MHA format evolves and we gain more like hand trappy cards, that like drawing into would be really, really good. So things like Plus Ultra, things like Capture Evildoers, like as we gain more kind of a card effects like that, All Might 2 will feel better on defense, but right now he genuinely has no card text on defense.
Yeah, he's a flow aggro character. I draw 2 cards to play more foundations and to hit you hard.
Yeah. Which is fine. I think that's exactly. But the fact that he's a 6-hander with 30 vitality is what I think is really good.
What is happening on Denki's side? I don't know who's going first. Denki wanted to go second.
Wow.
Okay. That is a choice.
And All Might did the whole hand.
I'll do this on a...
Huh.
So we chose to go second. So this is interesting for the mulligan rules, right?
Yeah, so he'll choose to go second and then
You draw the extra card and has the option to review. Yeah. So and like that, I think being a 7-hander going second, becoming an 8-hander, being able to build 5, hold 3 is really good. I think that's really good.
Nice.
Except for fighting All Might 3, All Might 2. Or All Might 3.
Yeah. So like I would say this is one of those scenarios where like maybe we want to go first.
3.
I mean, I don't see how as a 7-hander you don't want to go first.
Right. No, exactly.
I feel like every 7-hander wants to go first all the time.
It is still a card game. You want to go first.
Yeah. But
like
maybe
being proactive instead of reactive, I think is always strong, whether it's a mental game or the actual card game.
Yeah, but maybe he
set the pace.
Values the mulligan of like trying to find these specific pieces to defend himself versus All Might, because he did not have a very strong build whenever he played, right?
He may not have forgotten to draw. He may have chosen not to. So
you play that extra foundation every day of the week.
No, I meant like he only has 7 cards, is what chat was saying.
Correct. Yeah, but I'm saying he should have played that 7th card.
Oh.
At least attempted it. Check a 5, commit my character. My character's doing nothing on my opponent's turn.
Correct.
This is putting me up +1 foundation in the overall game. I'm in.
On a 5, 6. My first enhance will be my leader to give it.
Yo, we love Mighty Punch. This move is.
I like that. I like the card. I think it's a good card. I think it's niche. I think it's very niche. You're not gonna play it in every deck, but in a character like All Might 3, it's perfect, right? It's a high base damage attack. You just always give it speed. It has relevant effects, and the deadlock's okay.
Trot says maybe I don't, but I don't understand why you would choose to not draw. So All Might 3 says enhance your Fury or Punch attack gets 1 speed or 1 damage for each card in your opponent's hand. If we had chosen not to draw the card, we would have been stuck with 4 cards in our hand as Denki, and then essentially made all of All Might 3's moves unblockable. Because plus 4 speed on every move, it's just you just can't do it.
On turn 2,
Yeah.
on turn 2, that's equivalent to how many foundations he built that turn.
Okay. And
So it's like, so if I went to go, so let's say there wasn't the speed on it. If I went to go and check on a 5 on every single attack, then yeah, we can check running 5s. But now that there's that added plus 4 on every single thing, now I have to check running 5s and tap 4 cards on every attack. Now, granted, as you're blocking, you lose the cards in your hands, so the speed and the damage does diminish at the cost of you losing those cards.
It says you can still attempt a check still, right? Yes, but this Denki is playing a little more conservative. If you notice, I mean, he didn't even try and play the foundation, right? I just play a foundation and auto-fail it, but you still have an option of 1 more card to look for as a play option. I agree. I agree with you completely. Yeah, I agree.
It is.
I think that's the right mentality. I think so.
Right. It is. It's constantly the decisions that you have to make, and you have to decide: is that decision of him not drawing that extra card going to be the reason that he loses? Maybe not by itself, but that decision made with other decisions along the way could opt to the reason why this game might be an uphill battle for him. The fact that he chose to go second instead, that is another one of those options that he opted to choose, and we'll have to see how it plays out. I mean, if he successfully blocks his full chain, then it might work out for him, right?
6. So
Yeah.
half block,
So he's half blocking this one, so he'll take half of it there. All Might's still only tapped 1 card from his character. Now he's going to opt to build. So, like, depending on how many cards All Might builds here, and he's got quite a few foundations, like me as the All Might player, like, the fact that you've also you've won game 1, excuse me, the fact that All Might has won game 1, you're allowed to take bigger risks than your opponent. That might be part of the other reasons why Denki opted to not draw the extra card or not attempt to play the other one, is that you have to play more conservatively going into game 2, because if you make that big mistake that causes you to lose, then the match is over. You don't even get a chance at the 3rd game.
100%.
But for me, if I'm All Might here and I have all these foundations that are crazy good, like I would have even chosen to play on a higher curve for those foundations. I would have played that other Specialist of Sound, because like just get greedy on it. Like, you got 30 life. Denki built 4 foundations. You're allowed to just eat half your life total, go up to 10 foundations, like right here, and dare Denki to try and kill you. Like, you're allowed to do that because he won game 1.
Yeah, for sure.
But so even, I mean, all my player is still respecting the Denki deck, which I think is fair. There's nothing wrong. No reason to not do that. But I mean, Denki drew Jolt, Lift, Like, that's not it.
Yeah.
And so like that's indiscriminate, not lift.
This
So,
is not take an extra turn, man, for sure. Not this turn.
yes. Now he's gonna still try and set him up, like, right? So he checked a 3 here though. He's got to tap 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just it's a constant series of unfortunate events for the Denki player right now.
Yeah.
Alright,
Very much so.
If it's blocked, commit 1 foundation.
I don't even think I would have thrown an attack here, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely some grounds for you to build 4, hold 3, pass.
Pass as well.
Yeah.
Attempt to block.
But the problem too is that those 4 foundations are not the best defense. Having 2 specialists would have been good. Destined is fine.
We would have
But
kept 2 high blocks and a low block in our hand. We would have had double Destin on board. We would have had
Double specialist,
yeah,
double
like,
charged
we
up,
pretty much
and
could have
1
blocked
shot
whatever
short
we wanted.
circuit.
as long as he didn't roll hot and like find 6 attacks accidentally. But then like as a 7-hander, what do you do against that anyways?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's the poke one build. I mean, here you have to build at least 3.
For sure. Figure out which blocks you want. Ooh, I don't know. I don't know about this. See, charged up is one of those moves that like unbelievable power, right? After your charger stun attack deals damage, add a card to your momentum.
Yeah.
You
But
lose a
it's-
ready foundation.
Yeah, but I mean, it's only on the offense, right? So like he's building it right now to just pass a defensive check. I think it's still good to build it, right? It's got a +3 block. I would have instead held on to the latent skill, right? But build the charged up.
Interesting. I feel the exact opposite direction because they're both bad blocks, right? Or I guess one's a 2 high, one's a
One's a
3
2,
high.
one's a 3, and that matters against All Might 3 dot.
When I got double specialist, all of my block modifiers are zeros.
So, reverse throw on your 5.
I mean, yeah.
Check.
By committing a card, but yes. All right, so I mean, this is the saving grace right now for Denki, is that the first attack of All Might's chain is a bad check. I think the other saving grace is, as of right now, All Might only has one other attack in hand. Again, Denki still has to take and cater around every single attack that he plays, because like here we go, boom, you held 3 cards. My
Actually, no. We'll hold on to it. Never mind.
I'll pass man.
this throw right here is going to get extra 3 damage, going up to 9. You're going to take at least 5 from this, so like,
Goes to 8. It's a 5 damage throw.
or 6 damage, yes.
Yeah,
Wait,
two
wait,
mid.
what?
It's a 2 mid for 5.
Oh, I thought it was a 6. My bad.
It could have been if we wanted to blow the You're So Obvious on it, which
He is
having-
self-sacrificing it, so it's at 9.
All right, well, it's at. Hey, you got me there. Hey.
So he's tapping. So like this is. What did you draw? Hold on.
He drew a jab.
Pass.
Okay.
I'll send it.
Which doesn't matter right now.
2 mid
Doesn't have
for-
anything crazy built. Doesn't have coordinated effort. So like the Denki can live this turn 100%. But I don't think you get another one after this.
Yeah, we'll take the 9.
Wow, he just ate the 9. Wow.
Play jab
Did he
on
draw?
5.
What?
5.
I didn't see him draw. Did he eat 9 and draw? 1, 2,
Draw-
3.
draw
4,
from
5,
what?
6, 7, 8. This attack says if he deals 5 or more, you draw a card. And you just took.
Oh.
Speed.
Oh, then no.
9.
He might not have used the enhance.
It's not my
I
job.
don't know.
I didn't hear it. I just have 1 charge built unless Denki finds an opening for a kill turn. Or All Might's almost committed out. Stack Jolts and Momentum, then use it to bust his ankle some more. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
that's
for
how
sure.
I feel.
I think the setup is, I think playing the charged up was the right play. I think the decision was whether or not did you hold the latent skill for the high block or not. He opted to not, so he built it, which is fine for committing checks later or even now. But the double charged up, I think, was the right play. I think as the Denki player, you have to survive this turn and then kill him the next turn. I do not think you get another turn as Denki after this onslaught.
I agree.
So, like, as the All Might player, I think you understand that. So,
Alright.
I think even as the All Might player, you poke with these 2, build pass, hold the smash. I don't even think you play Texas Smash here. Again, he won game 1. He's allowed to just be the greediest of holding on to whatever he wants until he sees gas.
3 mid for 6.
I don't
I-
know, actually. Smash is lethal, right?
I know it is, but I still don't think it will kill him.
3. Wouldn't it?
I mean, he checked like ass again, but
Oh, you don't commit that one. You commit the latent skill.
it's too late. All right.
Yeah.
But yeah, 100%, because the short circuit is actually what would have kept him alive from this too. Because if he front loads damage onto this thing, like he can short circuit it, bait it out, live, even with a half block. But
I mean,
this
we
is
still
where
get to block it because of -3 speed, +3 speed, or +2 speed. Because we have a 2 high block in our hand with off of
with Joel.
Let's do speed.
But again, I think it's that fear again. Is like the fact
check a
that
5.
now it's not even just that too. It's like
Okay. So
the fact that he is having to block with an attack. If he doesn't have the kill turn next turn, he's going to lose.
Right.
It's all those factors.
We'll give it +4 damage.
So 4 damage from the combo. He probably won't discard a. I mean, hold on. Can he make it lethal? No, he can't.
No, we should have You're So Obvious here, actually. If we You're So Obvious and
For
then
+2 more.
for +2 speed, putting it
Self-sacrifice.
and then comboed and then gave it the 2 speed off of our character, it's unblockable and that's lethal.
Okay.
You'd
Yeah.
have to have a 0 high, right? Because it'd be 6,
don't exist?
7. Yeah, it'd have to be a 0 high, and you'd have to check a 6 in order to tap his
3
character.
high for 7.
Regardless, I don't like. He probably just checks a 3 here anyway. Yeah.
I do
Hey,
not.
there it is.
Good game, man.
Dang.
So
Yeah, a couple
there's
lines that could have been cleaner, but it's all good.
yeah. I think it's one of those things too. Like we'd still have to see the top 6 cards of the Denki's deck. Like if they're not there, then I think he still doesn't lose or doesn't win the game. But
Use that All Might or played against that All Might before. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was
Really awesome.
that was.
he makes a good point. He makes a good point. He hasn't played against All Might 3 at all, but I mean, All Might 3 can be very oppressive. Again, it's just like I said, he's an aggro character, draws 2 extra cards, gets to build those cards, goes wide, doesn't get punished for just playing really good pokes, which is why Reverse Slower is so good in him. Eventually, you just pick up these really cool combo pieces, things like with Hardened Jab, loop these attacks that you use with Coordinated Effort. Like he's already doing what the good symbol does, but you had 30 life to play with, right? So. And stats that make your opponent constantly make a decision on what do I block, what do I do not block, can I afford to give 2-3 speed on every one of his attacks? Like it's constantly like it is one of those, and that's what I'm saying. Like All Might 3 thrives playing against 7-handers because it makes it even harder for those 7-handers to make those decisions.
Reminds me of like Nomu and Shigaraki, how you have to play against that character so differently.
Right, exactly.
You just play like a big dummy versus All Might 3. You'll just get raffle stomped.
No, absolutely. And like you're like, oh well, what if I go against All Might 3, I just play out my whole hand, right? Well, no, because like I said, I didn't see it here in this list, but like the reverse throws are still 5 damage base. The Texas smashes hit really hard.
Yeah, punch Texas smash like is every character's life except Nomu.
Yeah, I even play a couple of copies of Missouri Smash because it's like a free cantrip kind of thing.
Okay, that's cool.
It's not bad.